First, hello, I'm John Bachman. This hour, President Obama commenting on the hostage situation and those deaths in France. He says the terror attack shows the world what these terrorists stand for.
They have nothing to offer but hatred and human suffering. And we stand for freedom and hope and the dignity of all human beings. And that's what the city of Paris represents to the world. And that spirit will endure forever, long after the scourge of terrorism is banished from this world. So,
those comments coming as the president is in Knoxville, Tennessee to discuss his plans for 2 free years of education at community colleges for students who are willing to work for it, as he says. The White House says that program would cost about $60 billion over 10 years. Meanwhile, France, of course, is on high alert in the aftermath of those 2 hostage standoffs they played out in towns just outside of Paris. 3 of the 4 suspects are believed dead, but police are still searching for a female accomplice of the shooter at the market, Ahmed Bali. The woman seen here is wanted in connection with the shooting of a police officer as well. She was able to escape the hostage situation that occurred in that kosher grocery store. Her boyfriend apparently ran into that supermarket yelling, quote, "You know who I am," before taking hostages. Reports say he is now dead. 4 hostages were also killed either before or during the police raid. An official says 15 hostages were freed from that market. Now, while that grocery store hostage situation was going on, the Kouachi brothers, who carried out the massacre at the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, were holed up inside a printing press in a small town. The 2 brothers, Sharif and Saeed Kouachi, took 1 hostage there. The brothers are now dead. That hostage was freed. Let's take a look at those suspects. Earlier today, we did learn also that 34-year-old Saeed Kouachi trained with al-Qaeda in Yemen back in 2011. And one of the 2 brothers met with al-Qaeda preacher Anwar al-Awlaki while he was in Yemen. Al-Awlaki, of course, was the American killed by 2011 drone strikes ordered by President Obama. The younger Kouachi brother, Sharif, was convicted on terror charges in 2008. He actually spent time in a French prison. Both brothers were on a U.S. no-fly list. Multiple world leaders, including UK Prime Minister David Cameron and Italy's Prime Minister, will attend a unity rally at Paris's Place de la République on Sunday to celebrate freedom and speech. And today on Capitol Hill, the House passes a bill to approve the Keystone XL pipeline. I think this is the 10th time they've done that. With 266 votes in the House, legislation will now head to the Senate. The upper chamber will debate the bill next week. Nebraska's Supreme Court also threw out a challenge to the route for the $7 billion pipeline, removing a major roadblock. Now, after the vote, congressional leaders also held a moment of silence for the victims in this week's Paris terror attacks. And then that brutal winter weather covering much of the nation could be to blame for yet another death. This after a pileup crash in Michigan today. 150 vehicles involved along Interstate 94. Also, Boston moving on to be the U.S. representative in the next round of cities that could be competing for the 2024 Olympics. Another update for you in 30 minutes.